Greetings, my fellow intellectuals. I am Jay Masters. Pretty much, with the rebranding of the channel, I've decided to make some slightly different content. Some content that would appeal more to the young, growing audience. So today, I'm going to be the first and the most proudest man to introduce a brand new series never yet seen on the internet, a Let's Read. Simply put, I'll be taking a book and I'll be reading it to you all, and we can read along together. Today's book of choice, Diary of a Wimpy Super Mario. So let us begin, shall we, with page 1. Super Mario, Diary of a Wimpy Super Mario, Book 1, an unofficial Mario book. This is unofficial, not a licensed product. Do keep that in mind. So let us begin. If I can turn the page, there we go. Of course, we have the copyright 2016 right here. Read this if you would like. I'm not going to bother with that. So, the prologue, some backstory, some contents, some context, I believe is the correct term. Let us begin. The 5 ranges. The year, undefined. Location, irrelevant. I hear they call this place the Mushroom Kingdom, huh? The Mushroom Kingdom? That is a downright hilarious millennia of human evolution. That is what we settle on. The Mushroom Kingdom has a nice ring to it. Beats me why they've been naming a place after what it's infamous for. I do apologize, I do have a bit of a stammer. It's been almost a century now since the turtles began feeding on the radioactive mushrooms that litter the horizon. The results, well, let's just say they only resemble between them and the turtles of the old. Let me repeat myself. Well, let's just say the only resemblance between them and the turtles of old start and halt at a common name. The Turtles. Something about that. Bowser! The recollection hits me hard. I remember now why I am laying here in the outskirts of the Mushroom Kingdom. The last thing I remember before the unfortunate turn of events left me in distortion. My goodness, we must continue forward. In the wastelands, what was taking the shuttle back to the kingdom from the space station I work at? See, I am the resident line maintenance supervisor, a glorified plumber if you ask me. The bots do most of the heavy lifting. I early today. Why? I can vaguely hear Luigi calling out for me. Or is it just in my head? Everything feels so hazy. Where's that little brother of mine when I need him most? Of course, this is clearly his current position right now. Of course, he's laying down on the beach of space with, I assume, I don't know who this woman is, but she looks like a lovely lass, and a mushroom. And I don't know what that is, but apparently, I for some reason, I hate it. Let's turn the page. I reach out and stroke the plastering throb that begins to form on the side of my head and reveal in the shooting pain as my memories start returning, slowly, painfully. I have come to meet the princess. Ah, the princess. A slow smile starts to form on my face as I picture her blue eyes, her scent, peach. I feel the pain recede from my forehead, my eyes gaze over. For a moment, she stands next to me and says something. I can't quite make out what she mouths, but I can see her eyes turn around, filled with panic. I'm confused. I reach out, but she is no longer there. Just a wisp of smoke in the setting sunrise. She doesn't have to say a thing. I knew exactly what had happened. We were ambushed by Bowser and his goons, and they kidnapped my dear Peach. By God! What a twist! I knew what needed to be done. I straggled up, relieved that everything worked fine, and peered out to the far horizon. I wiped my grime from my hands, the grim grime, we could say, from my hands, on the giant M embroidered across my chest uncondensedly. The 5 ranges stand proudly across from me and stretch all the way into the setting sun in the distance. You can also make out the outline of the castle, his castle, due to some weird genetic anomaly. Anomaly? What's this word? I not entirely sure what that word is. Bowser had developed differently from the rest. Having encouraged him before I could ascertain that his ugliness stood out not unlike a sore thumb. If that sore thumb wore an emo choker and grew spikes across his back, wherever you are, I will look for you, and I will find you, you ugly mutt, I whispered under my breath. My God, think of your manners, Mario. The sun has already set by the time I set out. Mario, Luigi again calls out from behind me. What a beautiful picture, might I say. Just absolutely amazing, phenomenal. Like a cast veil of shadows spread over the land, as the sun settles down the horizon to its final resting place. I squint harder, ceasing my brow from the concerted effort. I totally knew that word. The silhouettes play over the land as the shrubs move and dance with the stinging wind, not unlike some form of bizarre ritual. At this point now, an ancient deity shall be summoned. All hail the great Turtle God! I smile. I could have sworn I heard Luigi calling out to me. I stand rooted in the spot, a solitary figure among the dark shadows of the mystic land. And again, what a beautiful photo. Let's just take a moment and just view this photo for all of its greatness. Just fantastic. In the distance, the creatures of the night stir and wake. They can smell food. Tonight seems like they will be having Italian takeout. Oh no! Must have been the wind. Better get going, I murmur to myself. I look back to where I had lain minutes ago, searching intently. Searching. I finally spot it. A red cap sticking a few feet from me. I impatiently pick it up, rubbing dust off it, and I am off. Slowly at first, but then as the realization and urgency of the matter sinks in, I pick up speed. Despite the thickening foliage. And what? And bush that lays ahead. The two moons are out, and they cast a yellow haze over the Mushroom Kingdom, bathing everything in its colored flesh vomit. Flesh vomit. Color of flesh vomit. I do not believe I know what flesh vomit is. I smile. The rustling snaps me out of my reverie. This word, don't know what it is, and effectively wipes the smile off my face. Those are the two moons right there. That actually looks a little bit like Jupiter. No, perhaps it's just a cloud. And this, it looks like an eye looking at you. Or looking down at here. I'm not sure who is here, but they are being watched by the moon. I slow down and inch forward slowly and purposefully, awkwardly. I trip on some undergrowth, and just as I'm recollecting myself, I stand up and see it. I wish I did not see it. I cry out, more in disgust and terror than surprise. The nauseating smell that folds skin under its wide, glistening head. Its bizarrely slim and silky gray body. Those eyes. The eyes stare at me intently, unblinkingly. And if I hadn't known better, I almost... Idiotically, as this mushroom-shaped abomination slithered towards me, in the instant I felt like the titular hero in a corny science fiction novel. I believe that is called irony. Written by a 10-year-old with no hands and blind. Well, okay, maybe not as ironic. Maybe if I put my fingers on it and go pew pew. Funny how even in the grim situation my mind still makes jokes. Maybe I am that 10-year-old. I leap back and reach out for something, anything to grab onto to use as a weapon, but I am greeted with empty space. I freeze as the mushroom from Caligari? Dr. Caligari's cabinet slithers. I'm really good to tell you right now, I'm excited. Ever closer. I close my eyes and wait for the embrace of death and nothing. Huh? I sneak a peek, and to my astonishment, the mushroom stops, almost as if there's an invisible wall between the two of us. It abruptly turns back and wriggles away, leaving a trail of slime behind it. A few seconds pass, and it backs up and stops. It goes back. To and fro, and to and fro. What is this word? It finally dawns on me. The darn monstrosity has a sort of range to it. And I know what I have to do. The solution I've come up with is simple and effective. I could go round the mushroom, but on either side of the path there is thick undergrowth. I don't know what I might bump into or what other monstrosity lays in wait in the darkness. Besides, better the angel you know and without... better the angel you know and whatnot. Without... I don't know how to read. The only way forward is to jump over it, and I said it in my head, and it sounded crazy, even to me. 4 feet, I needed 4 feet clearance. And I was certain that it was doable, right? Right? I stepped back, felt my thigh muscles contrast as I tensed in anticipation, felt my stomach form into knots and counted underneath my breath, waiting for the perfect opportunity. I furred my resolve and took off like a bullet from a pistol. I knew I had made a mistake the moment I set off, but now I was already in the air, hoping no praying that I would clear the mushroom. I did not. I landed on top of the baboon's head, fell to my feet, made contact with the slimy surface, but just as I was about to scream out, the mushroom thing melted out from beneath me, flowed out into a vicious goo that formed a gluttonous puddle on the leafy floor. I stood there puzzled as to what had just happened. I figured that maybe there was a weak spot that I had inadvertently stumbled my way across, but no matter. For the moment I let relief wash over me. The relief was short-lived, however. I guess in a picture for reference. Of course. On a short terrace a few meters ahead of me stood the structure. A fort? No, it couldn't be. It was too short to be effective as a fort. Yet, there it is. There it stood, blocking my pathway. Blocking me from her, Peach. It had been a while since my thoughts drifted to her. I had been too preoccupied with giant mushrooms. I felt that familiar sense of dread and panic sip into my bones as I tried to imagine what she must have gone through right now. Bowser will pay. My sense of dread gives way, courage, and pushes me to take my next step. The structures stand tall and firm, and now as I approach it, I can't help but be amazed how smooth and polished it appears. And as I approach it, I can't help but me amazed how smooth. I believe that was a typo. I believe that's supposed to be amazed. How smooth and polished it appears. The moonlight reflects off its luminescent walls, giving it to a radioactive green shimmer that appears almost hypnotizing, beckoning me, drawing me closer. Like a moth to a flame, I indulge it. My hand strokes the surface, and a soft hum emits from the weird structure, growing in intensity, and something seems to slither inside it. It reminds me of a large area, ducks back at the space station, only this is different. No, it's alive. There is definitely something about this pipe, something moving inside it. I take a step back at the humming, and the humming intensifies, almost to a growl. A primitive rumble that shakes me to my very existence, and just when it becomes overbearing, the intensity reduces down to an almost inaudible purr. It's breathing. I believe that's the pipe. And let's call him Steve. It took me a while to figure it out, and the moment I did, I felt my heart sink down to the bottom of my stomach and take up permanent residence there. The pipes were initially used in the earlier days, probably centuries ago, to mine the planet of its useful fuel resources, siphoning and extracting the precious core to create the fuel cells that powered our ships. before the nuclear wars began. That radiated the plains and cast me into this particular conundrum. It seems that when they left the pipes unused for so long, they exposed the subterranean prehistoric fauna of lethal levels of radiation that now housed the gory beasts. Once again, it slithered out of its unholy abode, the thorny stem twisting and turning, head pointed to the starry sky, mouth snapping and growling at the moon, almost as if it wanted to devour the sky. It looked like this piranha and Venus flytrap mated and had kids of their own. Then let the kids grow up and abandoned and without a home, because this plant had some unresolved issues. After snapping at the empty sky for what seemed like an eternity, it would then slither back into the pipe, only to emerge again, hoping to catch its prey. I shivered when it occurred to me that I was the prey it longed for. My apologies, I was needed elsewhere. So let us begin back here. As anyone would tell you, almost anyone I know anyways, is that tampering with the planet's core is not exactly the smartest thing to do. After years of harvesting our own core, the gravitational pull of the planet has become, for lack of a better word, unstable. And this, in some ways, had directly influenced the rather interesting mutations that now call this expanse home. With no gravity to hold nature back, everything repeatedly evolves into cartoonishly large monstrosities. However, therein lay the solution to my current problem. See, the boots that I had on, which were standard issue to everyone in the Mushroom Land, were actually fitted with special gravity regulation devices. By tinkering a bit with them, I was able to conjure up a rather crude but working set of anti-gravity boots. I reset the timer cycle to give me alternating on the on and off phase, so that I could technically leap over the pipe while still being able to walk around normally. Yeah, technically. The first leap was a success. Well, sort of. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is where we are going to end this episode of Let's Read Diary of a Wimpy Super Mario. Now, I don't know about you, but I am very intrigued. I would love to finish this book. Tell me what you all believe in the comments. I would love to hear your feedback. And as always, have a nice day, my fellow intellectuals.